Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything. I'm coming at you with another channel update for my YouTube and Twitch channel. This is a monthly channel update. If you've never been to one of my channel updates, basically what I'll do is I'll tell you what I did in the previous month, and I'll tell you what I've got coming up, what I got plans to do. And if you're interested, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification icon so that anytime that I upload a video or go live, you'll be notified. All right, in the last month or so, there's been a pretty large change in my channel. We stopped playing Traveler. We started playing a game called The Fantasy Trip. It was something that I kickstarted. I played back in the late 70s, early 80s. They re-released it using Kickstarter. I backed it, got it. We started playing it. We're having a good time role-playing every Thursday night. We also introduced a few miniature games that we have started playing, like the Warlords of Erewhon. We played a couple of games of that on stream. We also played, actually I played a game of Nuke War on one of my streams because not all the players showed up to an RPG. Okay, so we're doing like a miniature game once a month and playing the RPG every Thursday night. I'm still streaming Star Citizen on Friday nights, anticipating new patches coming out every 3 months. They're currently on patch 3.5.1. That's with Arc Core, and so there's like 2 different planets you can actually land on, and like 7 different moons you can visit, space station, missions. There's even a asteroid planetoid, that you can go to and visit that. That planetoid asteroid place that you go is actually not supposed to be in the Stanton system. It's actually supposed to be in a different system, since the asset was already built and made, they decided they could put it in this system just to kind of show it off and to allow people to and give more content another place. But it's actually not supposed to be in this solar system. Okay, well that's Friday nights. Thursday night is role playing The Fantasy Trip 99% of the time, or 75% of the time, and then we'll play a miniature game the other times. You'll also see me assembling terrain. I just finished the Princeton project, which is the American War of Independence, and then I jumped into another project, which was the Agincourt or 100 Years War project. That only took me like 2 weeks to finish, from start to finish, because those models were so easy to paint, and there wasn't that many of those models. You can see that little table section right there. That's all 100 Years War project models, and I've just uploaded the completion of that project. So if you want to see that, that's great. I just played a game, Solitaire. We haven't actually played with the gang yet, but that seems like it would be something that'd be really fun and really fast. It only took me a couple hours to play. And then I've got I got a bunch of rule sets in. I got Rebels and Patriots, Chosen Men, Lion Rampant, and Land of the Free, and I was planning on doing a review of each of those rulebooks. I've only done the Lion Rampant as it goes. That's the Agincourt one, but there is a Rebels and Patriots, Chosen Men, and Land of the Free that I still have to do, so that'll be coming up soon. And then we built some Sarissa buildings, and we built a foreground building, which is that one right there, and I experimented with painting some archers down there, priming brown. I primed them brown, and they came out actually better than priming black, because the dark areas between their clothing isn't black, it's dark brown, and it makes them look a little more drab, and I kind of like it. It's not such a harsh contrast. And then the and all the colors go on brown, which I thought was kind of amazing. So even yellows and blues and reds were going on top of brown fairly easily. And so I was like, okay, that's better than black, because a lot of colors don't like to go on black. Metallics went on brown pretty good, as opposed to like white primer. So that was a lesson I learned myself. I think the brown primer was actually might be a way I might go with some other models too. Maybe even my World War II models. I might actually experiment with that. Having said that, the next project that our channel is going to progress to is bolt action. We're going to do a market garden campaign probably in September, so that's like in 4 months. So I'm going to start really working on my bolt action armies, and I need to do like 4 or 5 different armies. When I say armies, I mean unit types. Like I'm going to make an airborne unit, American airborne unit. I'm going to make a British airborne unit. I'm going to make an SS unit. I'm going to make some armor. I'm going to make some Fallschirmjägers. You know, I'm going to be doing a lot of different things. What I kind of like about Napoleonics and about World War II is the diversity in units. There are so many nations and there are so many different types of units, as opposed to like the American War of Independence. You got militia, line, British, and American. That's pretty much it, right? Where Napoleonics, you know, you've got the cuirassiers and the chasseurs and the lancers and the hussars and the dragoons, and that's just cavalry. You know what I mean? So when you go to World War II, you've got all these different tank types. You know, you got Shermans and Panthers and Tigers and Stuarts and M3 half-tracks and 251 half-tracks. You know, that's just some vehicles. And then you've got flak guns and anti-tank guns and machine guns and mortars, howitzers and rockets. And then you got infantry. You got the different rifle types, and uniforms are all different, even though they're all kind of like a camouflage or a drab, you know, or a solid green or brown. They're all different though, you know, and that's World War II is really one of my favorite periods. So we're going to do a World War II themed campaign coming up. Well, I'm going to start it basically tonight. We have the market garden. I'm going to do everything preparing towards market garden. So you're going to see me assembling World War II style buildings. You're going to see me assembling World War II style tanks and doing reviews of a couple of these like artillery tanks. And we're going to be painting World War II models, and we're going to be using the bolt action rules. And so that's going to be over the next 3 or 4 months, because I got to get this ready by September is what I'm thinking. I'm not going to have it ready for NashCon. I already know that. I'm going to have it ready for my own personal campaign with my bros. Now, what's kind of cool about that is if I get some SS and some Fallschirmjägers and some just regular grenadiers and regular hair infantry on the German side, if I build a bunch of tanks and all that stuff, I'll have that stuff for any campaign. So I could do D-Day with those. I could do Battle of the Bulge with those. I could even take some of these Germans, if I ever wanted to. I could do like a East Front stuff with Russians if I ever built some Russians. If I have British and I have Americans, I could do, you know, a British landing on D-Day, like maybe the Arnhem Bridge. Or so basically by doing the Market Garden campaign in the middle, it's kind of, it has units that could be used in all these other campaigns, which I think will basically just build my collection. And if you know anything about me, and if you've seen any of my videos, you know I'm kind of a compulsive completionist is what I'm saying. If they make it, I want it. You know, unfortunately that's the case with me. But self-control, I have none. But I self-imposed control by telling myself, okay, I need this for the Market Garden campaign. Then it basically, instead of saying, "Ooh, I want T-34s and I want Japanese and I want Australian units," and stuff, instead of doing all that, it basically puts blinders on me and says, "Okay, focus, Derek, focus. Market Garden. Is it able to be used at Market Garden? No, there was no Japanese at Market Garden. Okay, so let me not order any of those. And that's me. That's me trying to control myself. Right. And plus, I don't want to buy or get in so much that I feel overwhelmed. Like, I don't want to have I did this when I did Waterloo in 15 millimeters. I spent like $1,500 on 15 millimeter pewter miniatures. I had boxes and boxes of bags and blister packs and everything else from like Old Glory and minifigs. And I had every unit you needed for Waterloo in metal in the packaging. And it was daunting. I looked at all those figures and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to get all these painted? Okay, let me just do one unit at a time. And it took me years to do that. And I don't want that. I don't want to, I want to be able to get this done. And I'm also I'm a speed painter. If you haven't seen any of my painting projects, like hell, I painted all those models in 1 week. The entire French and English armies at Agincourt in 1 week. Using the Lion Rampant rules. It's a skirmish game. It's not mass combat. So, but still, that's like 150 models, all medieval style. I'm pretty proud of myself. If I could do 150 models of World War II Americans in 1 week, I think I'll be happy. But we'll see. I'm gonna try some new speed painting techniques. I'm telling you, I'm gonna try some new speed painting techniques. I found a few like field gray style spray paints, and I found some olive spray paints that I'm gonna spray prime the units with those colors, and then damn, that's their uniform, you know, and then go in and touch up all the straps and stuff. We'll see. We'll see if I can speed paint some stuff. When I painted this tiger tank, it's camouflaged. I don't know if you can see this, but it's camouflaged. But how I painted it was with a stencil. I created my own stencil. I held it over the tank, psh, 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 you know, and spray painted it, and then went back and touched up all the details. I just still need to put decals on it. So yeah, if I could do that with all the tanks and stuff, that'd be great. And the tanks don't have to be camouflaged. They can be solid colors. It's just how I'm going to do it. I could put some washes on them. And I've learned the Army Painter washes. That's another thing. Last month, this is a channel update. So a couple of things that I learned. There's a new glue type I like. It's the DAP Fuse, Rapid Fuse. I really like that glue. I'm not touching any of my other glues. That's it. Except for when I'm building terrain, and when I'm doing figure basing, I'll still be using PVA. But other than that, if it comes to assembling models or anything like that, I'm using the DAP. That glue is just incredibly good. So I learned that about the glue. I learned about the different colors. We experimented with some magnets. I thought that was pretty good. Wound up not using them. Built a bunch of terrain for the Princeton project. Bridges and buildings and roads, which a lot of that stuff I can use in World War II as well. Experimented with different types of flock. I pretty much found out that the Army Painter scatter flock, the grass flock, it's like a sawdust style flock, and that's the kind I like. Awesome. We also experimented with the Army Painter tufts. I'm impressed. Those are the three things from Army Painter that I'm very impressed with. Was the washes, the dark and the strong tones. Loved them. The tufts and their scatter grass. I like those. I'm not using their Army Painter paints. They're probably good as well. But I already have a bunch of paint, Vallejo and others. And then, speaking of which, I'm glad I mentioned it. I ordered a Sarissa paint rack. It's supposed to hold 70 paints. It probably won't, but it's like 12 inches wide, and it looks like it's about 12 inches tall, and it's multiple layers of, it's like a bleacher style, and I'm going to put my paints in there. I'm going to sit it over on my paint shelf, and hopefully it doesn't cover up my monitor and stuff, because my monitor is kind of low and the paint rack might cover it. If so, we'll figure something out. I'm planning on ordering more of these type of buildings, the Plasticraft buildings, because I think it was easy to assemble. It's pretty, it's bricked, it's all pre-painted and everything, and if I needed to, I can make a rubble building, or if I needed to get inside, you could get inside. I like the Plasticraft buildings. I'm gonna have to look into maybe getting some more of those style buildings. Okay, so what else are we doing? Oh yeah, big thing. City of Heroes. I've been playing a lot of City of Heroes on stream, probably 3 or 4 times a week. I'll be live streaming it. I'll be doing it tonight. I'm digging the fact that City of Heroes private server was reopened and given public access, so now everybody can play City of Heroes. It's free. You go, you download it, you play City of Heroes. Remember, it's an MMO for superheroes. If you've never played City of Heroes, I strongly recommend it. I can't recommend it enough. City of Heroes was my #1 favorite MMO from all time, and I'll probably do a video soon explaining why that is. But City of Heroes was my go-to MMO, and I found myself, and this is kind of cool in a way that I realized this, but let me tell you a little bit of a little story about my universe. I was a big MMO player. I would jump around from fantasy MMOs to sci-fi to whatever, right? I played probably 20 different MMOs. And between those MMOs, I would always go back to City of Heroes. Like I would play City of Heroes for a couple of weeks and I'd say, you know what, I see this new Warhammer MMO's coming out, let's check it out. I would play Warhammer MMO probably for a month or two until I got bored of it, and then I would switch back to City of Heroes, because I would say to myself, man, I remember playing City of Heroes, it just did this one thing way better. So then I'd go back to City of Heroes. And then I would say, oh, look at this, Lord of the Rings is out, let's go try that. We tried Lord of the Rings, back to City of Heroes. Oh, this other one, this Conan's out, let's go check it out. We go to Conan, come back to City of Heroes. I did like Aeon, I did Lineage, I could go on. There's like 20 different MMOs that I tried, and then I always came back to City of Heroes. And I was like, okay, so you know what? I made a conclusion. City of Heroes is obviously the MMO for me. So I played that for about a year exclusively, nothing else. And then they closed the doors. When they closed City of Heroes doors, it left a hole in my world. So I said, you know what? I got to find something else to play to take up my time. So I found this game called MechWarrior Online. And I kind of turned it into my own little MMO via RP, but not really. We didn't RP, but it was like we formed a unit and we made plans and we organized and we formed little training groups and units inside of our, and it was all kind of cool and all, but it was only arenas. You would go into a match, fight, you're out. Go into a match, fight, you're out. And it just wasn't City of Heroes, right? And then they announced Star Citizen. And I was like, ooh, Star Citizen, what's this? MMO? Just like Traveler, which is my favorite MMO or role-playing game. So I was like, oh, okay, let's back that. And then I said, you know what? I've been torn between this MechWarrior Online and this Star Citizen. So let's say I told the guys over at MechWarrior Online, I said, hey guys, I'm going to turn this organization over to you. It's the Davian Royal House Guards. You guys can have it. I'm going to move over to City of Heroes. And I'll come back every now and then and we'll play some MechWarrior Online, but mostly I'm going to be focusing all my attention on Star Citizen. And they were like, cool, cool, everything's good. And then I moved over to Star Citizen. I played in Star Citizen, formed the organization, did all the planning and all that stuff for a couple of years. And then one day I said, you know what? I got the itch to play some MechWarrior Online. I went back to my old organization and they said, stop, don't come back. We don't want you here. Where'd that come from? I mean, I still, to this day, don't know why they even are saying this. So it's okay, because if I hadn't played in 2 years, it's not that big of a deal, right? So I went back to Star Citizen, started playing. Star Citizen is not complete. It's an alpha. It's buggy. We test for a week or two, and then we have to wait for the next patch because we've done all the content. There's not that much content. It's kind of, and here's a strong word, boring. Okay, Star Citizen doesn't have anything in it right now that draws me in. Early on it did. Early on, because it was so new and there was so much theory crafting and speculating and idea, concepting, and you were like, wow, we could probably do this, we might be able to do that. And then now that it's getting more and closer to being an actual game, we're realizing that some of those things aren't ever going to happen, and a lot of our theory crafting is over with because we've already thought of those things. We can't think of anything else. It's basically got to a point where now we're just sitting here waiting for the next patch. And when it comes out, we go, "Ooh, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool." What else is there? Nothing? Okay. And it's like 3 months between patches. So I've been streaming it every Friday night, and I do on my channel. Every Friday night I'll stream. Now, the only reason why I play once a week is so that I don't get burnt out or I don't discover everything overnight. So I only play like 1 or 2 hours once a week. That's just to keep me fresh, just to keep me in touch with the game, just to follow along with the production and report any bugs that I find, stuff like that. And then somebody said, hey, City of Heroes, you can log in again. The circle comes all the way back. I logged in. I was able to play. There were tens of thousands of players online. Holy moly. I said, okay, let's play some City of Heroes. Now here's my point. Sorry, it took me a second to get there. I just had to give you some backstory. This last Friday night, I logged into Star Citizen, but I was thinking about logging out. Every minute that I played, I was thinking I would be having more fun in City of Heroes. That's unfortunate. I'm happy for me and I'm happy for City of Heroes, but the Star Citizen experience just isn't there yet. I know it's coming. I know they're building, caves and cities and all this stuff. And as soon as all that comes in and they get some content and some missions, and the part of the problem that I have, and maybe this is the topic of another video, and I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. But one of the problems I have with City of Heroes, and I've even made a video about this, there's not enough progression. I understand it's an alpha. I understand that it's buggy, and I understand they haven't got all the features in there. I understand that. I understand that. But I am seeing into the future of what they say the game will be. And based on what they said the game will be, it will not have progression. They talk about, oh, but your ship, that's not progression. Yeah, you can put a bigger laser on it. That's not progression. Yeah, so I have a small little pew pew, and then I get a bigger pew bang, right? And then I get a bang bang or whatever. And that yes, it motivates me to get a bigger gun, sure. But that's not progression. People mistake that as progression. Equipment in an MMO, I'm talking about MMOs, equipment is not progression. And I consider my ship to be equipment. It's something I own. It's something that I have in my inventory. I have it in my hangar. That is equipment. That is not character progression. Okay? They're saying that, well, if you are a new player and you've got this little bitty ship and then you earn some money by grinding these missions, you'll be able to build or buy a bigger ship, which will open up new missions. Yeah, that's not progression. That is story progression. I'll give you that. It's not character progression. Me being able to do a different job is not character progression. Okay. So then they say, yeah, but you can if you do a good mission, you'll get a good reputation, and then you'll be able to get more good missions, but if you do something bad, you'll get a bad reputation, so then you can do bad missions, and that's not character progression. That is story progression. Everything that they've talked about is story. Except for equipment. Equipment is neither. Equipment is just equipment. That's just getting better guns. That's just getting better armor. It has nothing to do with my character. It lacks what every other MMO has. And I'm not talking about arena games. I'm not talking about Fortnite. I'm not talking about MechWarrior Online. Even though MechWarrior Online did have character progression, even War Thunder has character crew progression. But most MMOs, or all MMOs, real MMOs, have character progression. And how do they do that? Well, they give you a stat. They give you stats. They give you characteristics like strength or dexterity or stamina or health, or how far you can see, or how fast you can react to something, or whatever. And it can all be behind the scenes. It doesn't even have to be in my face. Character progression can be hidden. That's fine. If I put on heavy armor and I can only run for 1 minute before I get exhausted, but I do it a lot, and then maybe one day I put on heavy armor and I can run for 2 minutes, that's character progression. My character was actually getting better. And I don't have to know this. There doesn't have to be a bar on my screen saying you're this close to getting 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be there. It can be hidden. It can be hidden, but it has to exist. And Star Citizen has 0 character progression. And I'm afraid that's going to kill the game. It's already starting to kill the game for me. I'm starting to get, what's the word? Not burnout, but I'm starting to get complacent, or maybe there's a word for it. I'm not sure exactly what that word is. Bored, because I'm doing the same thing over and over and over, and it doesn't matter. And I understand in the game's not out yet. I understand that, but I'm projecting myself to the future. I'm projecting my idea to when the game is actually out. And when the game's out and there's no character progression, I can see myself getting bored instantly. And so, yeah, sorry I went on a tangent. I need to do another video on that separately so I can talk about it to my Star Citizen audience. But, and I might do it Friday night. I might just sit down on the stream and just talk about it. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plan. That's what I'm going to do. So I think I've gone over everything I'm planning on doing on the stream. I've got some videos where I'm going to build some models. I'm going to build some bolt action stuff. We got some buildings we're gonna have to build. I'm gonna build my paint rack on stream. We're gonna stream a lot of City of Heroes. I'm gonna try to continue my Star Citizen streams. We're gonna every Thursday night we're doing the RPG. Right now we're doing the fantasy trip, trying to figure out the Curse of Harith. Everybody's having a good time. But in September, I think we're gonna switch over to a heavy miniature channel where we're gonna do a lot of miniature gaming on the channel, and then maybe twice a week if I can swing people coming over twice a week. That's what we'll do. And then, you know what? Tonight, I think I'm going to experiment. I think I'm going to spray this Jeep OD green, because the Jeep needs to be OD green anyway. And then the uniforms need to be OD green as well. So I'm just going to spray this whole thing OD green, and then I'm going to wash it. I'm going to put some flesh on them. I'm going to paint some tires and some rifles and stuff like that. And I'm going to wash it, and we're going to see if what I did was worth it or if it wasn't worth it. I think it's going to be basically an experiment on this Jeep. Look what I got. Just another thing. I got a 101st bolt action dice bag. It came in at the right time to do my market garden. And my D6s. They all have the 101st Screaming Eagle on there. Yeah, that's exciting. All right, so I think I've got you filled up on what's going on the stream. What's going on my channel. Oh, something you need to know. Dang, I'm jumping all over the place. If you've stuck with me this long, thank you. There's been a change on my channel. As you know, I use Restream to stream onto YouTube and to Twitch. I'm getting most of my chat is coming in on YouTube. Most of my viewership is on YouTube. The issue I'm having with that, and there's not really an issue, but what I want you guys to help me with is, if you're going to watch, go to Twitch. Go to Twitch, watch me there, chat with me there. So I've stopped looking at the YouTube chat. I'm only looking at the Twitch chat, and I tell my audience this mainly so that it gives them an incentive to move to Twitch if they want to chat with me. What I've noticed physically is that Twitch actually loads a good 15 seconds before YouTube. YouTube's just a little bit slower. One good thing about streaming to YouTube is when I'm done streaming, the video's on YouTube forever, so you can go in and watch it at a later time. Twitch has rules to become partnered with Twitch, and a couple of those rules are, or one of the main rules are, you have to have viewers. You have to have people watching your stream. So if you're watching my videos on YouTube, that's not helping me on Twitch. And being a partner is when I can start offering subscriptions to my channel, because right now I can't. So help me out. Go to Twitch if you're going to watch. If you're going to watch my live streams, go to Twitch. It helps me out, or it will. Hopefully, it will help me out in the future. All right, that's really the last thing I wanted to say. Thanks for coming out and watching this video. Keep your eyes open for the Market Garden campaign progress reports and my streams on Thursdays and Fridays. See you then.